Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mackie, and in today's video we're going to be reading underrated rom-com books for a week straight to see if they deserve more hype. Because the summer season is fast approaching despite the fact that I'm filming in late evening, and yeah, I don't know why in my head I associate rom-coms with the summer, which that isn't exactly necessarily it, but I still do it anyway, and I'm going to encourage you guys to do it with me. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing this week. Okay, so I cheated a bit this week and I have already read one of the books that I was supposed to be reading before filming this intro. So, yeah, let's start with that. The first book I have read for this video and for this week is The Unbalanced Equation by H.L. Macfarlane, and I'm here to give you a review, tell you about it, tell you if you need to read it, give you a gist, and let's talk about it. Yeah, because I literally just finished it this evening, and I think it's perfect timing. That's a sign that I need to tell you guys about it, isn't it? Because if it's not a sign, I'm gonna consider it one. Alright, if you guys have ever spent more than 10 minutes of your time on book talk, which I think is a task all mortals can successfully accomplish, then you will have heard of these two specific books that have been blowing up on book talk. They've been the OG book talk books since day one, and they're The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood and The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. Now, this book, The Unbalanced Equation, is actually supposed to be a combination and a mix between these two, and as it turns out, a couple of my friends have read The Unbalanced Equation and the other two books that I just spoke about, and they've enjoyed it very much. But then there comes me. They had been forcing me for a while to read it and just join in on the talk. And if you've got friends who are readers, you know that you have to cherish them and listen to them at some point, because it's hard enough finding friends who are readers in real life specifically. So yeah, I was just humoring them because this isn't exactly my favorite genre or the genre I read most. That would probably be like mystery or thrillers and stuff. But thought I'd humor them. The idea of this video came up, and we are reading this book. Let's talk about it. So it's about Elizabeth McLean and Thomas Henderson, who we've been calling Liz and Tom throughout the entire book. From the prologue itself, you can see like this whole chemistry building up between the two. There's this like mixer event for teachers and students to meet and yeah, just hit it off, get to know each other before like the academic year begins, and just things like that in general. And Tom and Liz really seem to hit it off then. But then the very next day, Tom is actually employed to become Liz's PhD assessor for her undergrad years, I believe, in science. I don't know which one, because I seriously, I don't understand much about science. But yes, he's been hired to do so. And he, thinking that he doesn't want to jeopardize his job, his reputation, and Liz's own further career in science, he decides to keep his distance well away from her, not come near her, not let anything become of the good chemistry they had the previous day. And he's disappointed, but there's not much he can do about it, so he decides to be really bad to her. She's pursuing her undergrad for her PhD, and he isn't exactly nice to her either. So then fast forward 4 years, you see her working in this bar as a part-time job before she's going to leave, and she's finally going to get a job in a lab she actually wants to work in. And Liz is pretty mean to Tom in the bar. Like, she isn't exactly polite about anything. She's a bit rude. But I mean, if he did treat her the way the book keeps telling us every other page that he did treat her that way, then yes, he does deserve all the wrath coming his way. So she's in the bar with him, right? And he comes, visits the bar, she's working there. She isn't great to him. They stumble across each other. He's here for one of his friend's stag do's, and she's just there working. It's her last day. And while she's still on the job, she actually gets this text from a friend saying that, oh, guess what? You remember Thomas Henderson, the guy who basically ruined your life during those 4 years of your PhD? Yeah, guess what? His lab burned down. I don't know what kind of stunt it was, maybe like to get some sort of pleasure, revenge or whatever. She goes and shows it to him, the text. She tells him that, look, you just got your new lab. Yeah, turns out it burned down because some undergrads, I believe, I'm not too sure. See, like I said, I don't know much about science and stuff like that. They were messing around with the Bunsen burner, and that happened. So he's furious. You see a few weeks later that he ends up working in the same lab as Liz. Because guess what? The lab she got hired to work at now, her boss, who is the head guy over there, he's Tom's best friend. And he calls Tom to work on the same bench as her because there's a free spot there. It seems fine until you realize, or at least they are told, I think the very same night this happens, that Liz's dad is actually going to be marrying Tom's mom, which that's another shocker for her, and it seems to be for him as well. And another bombshell is dropped within like a week, I believe, or something. While they announce their marriage to these guys at dinner, they also invite Liz to come live with them at Tom's townhouse with Liz's dad, Tom's mom, and Tom. And she declines the invitation, but then 1 week later, like I said, that bombshell is dropped on her, and her landlord kicks her out. So with no place to go or notice, because she's got to leave in like 3 days, she ends up crashing at their place, which, okay. And from there it just continues. They both seem to like each other, but they don't want to admit it. They're gonna pretend like they don't like each other and play like these weird twisted games around each other, which is got frustrating to a point wherein I almost wanted to DNF the book. But then again, I have the dumb New Year's resolution that I made, that I can't let myself DNF books I'm not really enjoying, to just keep going and see if they get better. Which I don't know if I can say this book got better or worse. It was alright. That's all I can say. When they do start really hitting it off, the chemistry gets really good again. But I think the lack of nuances in this book did it for me. Like, for example, if you were going to be dropped like a bombshell on you, there's no foreshadowing of the bombshell. It's just dropped conveniently on you like the very second. Next chapter you realize that, oh, this happened for this reason. For example, there was no nuance or foreshadowing for the fact that she's going to get kicked out of her apartment. And in the previous chapter, she had just gotten the invite to go live at their place with them. I did notice that this seemed to happen a lot, which it's maybe just the author's writing style. I didn't really enjoy it very much because you're getting told something in this chapter and you very well know that it's going to happen in the next, and there's no like inkling of wanting to really know what happens next because you basically can already guess it from the way the story is heading. I don't know if I'm making much sense right now, but I really hope I am. But that's that. This book has quite a few tropes, specifically ones I don't really like very much, which I can have entire fandoms coming and attacking me right now, but I'm going to be brave enough to say it. Second chance romance, miscommunication trope, which that is not a spoiler. It literally starts from page 2. I'm pretty sure there's forced proximity. There's enemies to lovers, workplace romance. Yeah, there's quite a few. If I remember any more, I'm going to have all of them listed up here for you. And yeah, the only thing that is not really mentioned throughout and no one seems to be up on their Goodreads reviews is the fact that these two are literally step siblings because their parents are getting married, and it just seems to be fine between them, like everything that's going on, and in the end when they eventually fall in love, like every other romance book, it seems fine. It seems okay, which I don't know if that really happens in real life. That just comes across as weird to me. But that is that, and I didn't really enjoy the third act conflict in the romance book either, because if you don't already know, there's usually towards the end when everything is resolved, they're all together, they're all in love, happily ever after, and you don't actually get that. You get a third act conflict to piss you off because frustrating you is fun, and nothing really goes happily ever after later because you get to the climax, you have to resolve this problem, which it's a really dumb problem anyway, and you got to fix it, and then you can go to your happily ever after. In this book specifically, the problem was a bit of a red flag, and at this point, if I'm considering it, if Tom was a real human, what he did in the book, yeah, it's unforgivable. It's like crossing the boundaries and not knowing your limits, and you will understand if you read this book. But again, it's acknowledged in the author's note as well by the author herself that yes, it's a bit of a red flag, but in rom-coms everything's fine, which I don't know if everything's fine because this book just came across as, you know, slightly off for me. But that's all right. I'm gonna read your next book that's coming out, It's the second book in the series, which honestly I don't mind because it wasn't like too bad, the book. I just didn't enjoy it very much, and I feel like the second book will be more up my alley because it's about a girl called Courtney who can't really make decisions to save her life, which that's basically me. I'm the definition of indecisive at this point. So I will read that, of course. We will see. For now, I think I'm gonna settle on this book with the 3 stars because I enjoyed bits of it, but then there were some bits that just didn't strike me right, especially the step-siblings bit. But yeah, I mean, if you'd like to go read it, if you're like a huge Love Hypothesis fan, and if you'd like to see what this one's about, see if it's any similar, because I haven't read either of them and I cannot tell you if they are. Definitely go read it, definitely go check it out. And yeah, on to the next book. I know at the beginning of the video I said this was supposed to be like a summery, summer-esque, you know, nice golden hour-ish feeling video and that sort of aesthetic. But I'm sorry, I just can't seem to film when there's good lighting around or in the evening because I just look washed out, and I have to come in at night when it's like dark and I have like artificial lighting because the video is just gonna turn out weird and ugly, and no amount of editing is gonna fix it, and I don't want to put myself through that kind of torture. But anyway, back on subject, here I am. I finished the second book for this video, the underrated rom-com, and this one is For Heaven's Sake by Joe Preston. And yeah, so in the author's note at the very beginning of the book, the author had actually included like this Spotify link and like this QR code that you could scan and open up a playlist to that she made herself for the book, which is amazing because I don't know if you guys know it or have told you yet, but I cannot read a book without listening to the playlist made specifically for the book because I just need it. It's like vibes and aura, and I want that because I cannot. I think I've ruined reading for myself at this point because I can't read without music. And yeah, it was just an added plus that makes me like the book better. But there is a playlist that comes with it, so if you're somewhat like me, be rest assured you don't need to go looking for playlists or trying to create your own because it's already here. So now, back on subject, let's talk about the book itself, For Heaven's Sake. So this book has got a lot of tropes, and before I forget anything, I'm going to mention all of them right here on screen for you. There's brother's best friend, forced proximity is one, I'm pretty sure fake dating, what else, enemies to lovers but the guy falls first. And yeah, if I remember any more, I'll put them up on screen like I said. But it's about, so it's actually, I didn't realize it's in a series, but it is actually in a series. And I think it's the last book, which is unfortunate. And I did read a couple of spoilers, but it can be read as a standalone as such, so that's okay. I don't know if I want to continue with the series and read the first and the second book in the series, and there's like, I think a book 0.5 as well, but I'll see. So it's about this girl called Regan Kennedy, who we keep referring to as Ray all the time, like R-E-Y, and the guy is called Jason, wait, I think I forgot his last name. That's so weird, wait, I think I forgot, like actually. He's called Jason something, but I forgot. Okay, I'm back. He's called Jason Cowell. But anyway, on to the story. So there's Regan, Ray and Jason, and in the prologue you basically read about how there are like sparks flying between them and they both have something for each other. Then she figures out he's already with someone, and see, I don't want to ruin much of the book for you, but she basically breaks girl code for him. Yeah, she starts hating him because of that. Again, I don't want to ruin too much of the book for you, so I won't go into details. But 7 years later, which 7 is a lot, and they still apparently like each other, but she believes in her head that she hates him because of the breaking of the girl code thing. And 7 years later, her brother is actually going to be getting married, and she's got this really weird aunt and her family as well. They're not weird, but they keep pressurizing her into asking if she's like with someone and if she's gonna bring someone as her +1 to the wedding. So eventually she and her friend Jenny, who there's a book on apparently as well, so I might read it because she was a cool character. Jenny is actually Jason's sister. So Jenny actually comes up with this plan that they should go together and fake it that they're together, so that the family does not irritate them into, you know, questioning if they are with someone, or, you know, they should probably like get ahead in life and like find someone or something like that. Which okay. but she gives them that genius idea and they decide to consider it. And when they finally, come pretending together, it turns out that her brother has actually hired this like couple's cottage for them because he's like really happy because that Jason is her brother Carter's best friend. And before you ask me, yes, everyone in her family has got like really serious names. I mean, there's Carter, there's Regan Kennedy, her father's called Wilson. Yeah, very presidential names. But moving on. So they end up in this cottage together, which is forced proximity, and forced proximity at its finest. And she keeps calling him Lucifer and, Prince of the Darkness, the Devil, and he calls her Beelzebub and Flames, which I don't know if I found it annoying or cute, maybe both at the same time. But when it was repeated to, excesses, it kind of got like a bit frustrating. And they go about halfway through the book hating each other, or at least she hates him and he makes it clear that he likes her. So at the halfway point when they finally get together, which I mean that happens in every book, in every rom-com, so don't blame me for telling you that, but when they actually do get together, the book has like a great start, alright? Don't get me wrong, like the first 40% is so good, and then I think a bit after that, I would say like 5 chapters worth after that, is them being all happy and nice when they're together. And at some point I just got bored of it because okay, yeah, got it. But then the third act conflict got back like the interest in the story, but I think it was unnecessary. Like it had a trope that I really don't like, and I don't want to give you the name of it. Okay, I will, because it happens at the beginning of the story as well. It's basically miscommunication 2 times over, and that was a bit annoying, but it happened. And yeah, I did regain interest for a bit before I realized there was miscommunication that happened, and I lost interest again. But then towards the end of the book, you realize that Regan was actually battling with her own health problems, or at least you're told that during the book when they're like opening up to each other and bonding. But when something serious happens at the end, that got me really emotional and almost to tears. So that's that. And also the fact in general that Regan was like such a likable and relatable character. Like she loves drinking coffee. She wanted to try crocheting, which if you don't know, I crochet. And she's a mess. Okay, I don't know how to put it, she's just a mess. She cannot clean her stuff, so she's organized in a messy way. Or she's messily organized, if you want to call it that. Also her humor is good, so that just made her likable, and that's a plus point, another plus point for the book. Because I mean, I love coffee, and all those coffee references were fun. Even the speaking about a mess and how annoying it is to live in a mess was fun. Just listening about, and it felt like I was in a conversation with like a really good friend. And it was nice, but it was just the pacing of the book that honestly stopped me from giving it like a 5 stars. So right now I'm putting it at a 4 because it was good. Okay, it wasn't as bad as like, I'm not saying the Unbalanced Equation was bad. I'm just saying that it wasn't exactly the best thing I've read, and this was much, much better. I mean, look at the cover, it's beautiful. The Unbalanced Equation, it basically makes Tom look like he's like, I don't know, really old, like someone's granddad, whereas in reality he's like 40, I think. I don't even remember. I think he's like 38. And then the girl, Liz, she's 27 or 28, something. So the age gap is not fun in that book, but here I think they're like only I think Jason is only a year elder than her or something, maybe 2. So it's not too much because I don't really like age gap tropes that much as well. And then the banter. So while they were still enemies to lovers in this book, for heaven's sake, because if you think I'm talking about the Unbalanced Equation, I'm not. We're back to this one, I keep jumping. But the banter is really good. It's so good, especially the sarcastic, sassy humor comments. They're just nice. So yeah, if you want like a fun, quick read to like carry with you to the beach or something, take it. There are so many annotations you can make. And there's this one specific part I remember from the book wherein like Carter, brother, and Jason are like having this really serious topic, and you as the reader, you think they're talking about someone dying because they respected and honored this person, and they still dream about what kind of suffering the person went through. Whereas really at the end of the paragraph, it was basically just a loaf of bread. Was probably the funniest thing I've read. I saved it on my phone and had it up on my stories for like 3 days straight, which I've never done before, especially for a book. I think the longest I've done it was when I last read Harry Potter, but I didn't really have a phone back then. I did it through my mom's on her social media. I don't know why I did, but I've never actually done it on my own phone ever since I've gotten one, because when I did actually get one, I wasn't reading. I stopped. So yeah, that was a good feeling. Really good story. She hates lizards, which is also nice because I do as well. And the hotel staff actually keeps a pet called Coco Loco. So the interactions she has with Coco Loco are also really funny. There were certain moments in the book where I was actually laughing out loud. And like I said, the last bit almost drove me to tears. So it's a really good book. Carry it to the beach if you want to, maybe on like a long road trip. Just read it in the car or maybe listen to the audiobook if there's one or something. And yeah, I think you'll enjoy. I ended up giving it 4 stars, and I think enough with the ranting. Moving on to the last and final book, which I think I'm the most excited for out of all of these, even though For Heaven's Sake was like a really good surprise. And it's The Neighbor Favor by Kristina Forrest. So I've actually already started it because like I said, I finished, I don't think I said it. I finished For Heaven's Sake last evening and I had a bit of time. So I've started it. I'm loving the writing style. I'm loving the content. But now is not the time to update you because it's time to let For Heaven's Sake shine. And I'll come back in a bit after I'm done reading the book fully and I'll tell you about it. Bye! Hi guys, it's been a while. Probably not for you if I've been uploading consistently, but I've gone on vacation and I am back, and it's been about, I would say, a month and a half since I last updated this video. But I finished The Neighbor Favor while on vacation, and only for the clarity and like I said, consistency of this video, I waited to film my reaction back in our spot, which here I am again. Hi! That was unnecessary. But I am back here and back here to talk about the book. I ended up giving this book a 3.5. I think it's really fluffy and fun, and the storyline is great if you're just looking for something nice and cozy and, you know, cupcake-ish to like read on the beach or read while the summer is going on. Any weather, honestly, but it was giving me summer, so I'm grateful I read it while on vacation. And, you know, outside while it's nice and breezy and, you know, lit and during golden hour with like a good playlist going. But about the book itself, the storyline, it follows a writer and his reader. So the girl, she actually reads his books and she reaches out to him via email one day because she finds his website. She finds a website made for him and she finds his email linked there. So she reaches out, they start a conversation, everything goes great, sparks begin to fly, everything is like so perfect. And then he ghosts her. So that's sad for her. But then moving on to the present time. So she is actually looking for a date. I just realized I forgot to tell you their names. Oh my god, okay. Okay, yes, I'm back from Goodreads. I have checked their names. The guy is called Nick and the girl is called Lily. So it's actually Lily's sister's wedding. I'm pretty sure her name is Violet. But so her sister's like intervening in her life and trying to look for dates for her because she's been like the only one who's single or whatever now, and she needs someone because she's like growing up according to them, and she just needs someone. So they intervene in her life and try to find her someone, but she hates that. So they come up with this deal wherein if she finds a date to her sister's wedding on her own, they're going to stop intervening in her life and interfering, which is something she really wants for herself. So yeah, she comes up with this elaborate plan to ask out her next door neighbor Nick, who, surprise, not a spoiler because it comes up later, it comes up in the beginning, is Nick, who was the anonymous author who was like texting, emailing with her. And yeah, she's trying to get him to go with her, but he at some point figures out who she actually is. So now he's trying to keep his identity secret, but still, you know, be on good terms because he is still in love with her. He just had reasons for ghosting her because sparks were flying in the emails and they were supposed to like, I'm pretty sure call each other and then meet up at some point, but then he just ditched her. She took hard feelings towards that. Or I don't know if that's how you would say it, but yeah. Somehow this book felt very Insta-lovey yet slow burnish at the same time. which was fun. Like I said, it's like a nice light book you can read as a palate cleanser between other heavier books of, you know, different genres, different tropes, whatever. But yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed reading it. I gave it a 3.5, like I said. And that concludes our video of reading lesser hyped romance books to see if they deserve more hype. Which, I mean, I think, yes, all 3 of them in certain ways definitely do. For heaven's sake, it was great. I love the summer vibe so much. I haven't stopped thinking about it, and I was thinking about it majority of the time while I was on vacation, so that's fun. It needs more people reading it. If you are watching and if you want summer vibes, I'm telling you, go read that book. The Unbalanced Equation, I think if you're fans of The Love Hypothesis, which at this point I've read a couple of chapters and it's pretty good. I will continue it at some point. It's just I'm reading too much at the moment. Yeah, if you're fans of that book, definitely read it, definitely check it out. I did enjoy reading it, it was a good time. And The Neighbor Favor, again, you want summer cupcake, nice, light, happy-go-lucky vibes. You want a writer and a reader interacting. The reader and the writer, they're both like book lovers and they give you like these bookish traits. It's all fun. It's all fun and games. It isn't. But anyway, you get the point, okay? Yeah, definitely go check them out, read them. And hopefully I will see you in my next video when I come back on here to film something else. Till then, do the YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you want another video of this sort, because I actually loved filming this one, surprisingly. It's still summer outside, as you can tell, because it's still light. And I mean, I don't want these days to go away. I'm enjoying myself very much. The warm temperatures are the best, but they will go one day. Until then, I'm going to try to read as much as I can. But until then, yes, I will see you. Let me know if you need me to read some more, and I will do it. Goodbye.